The Shigaraki and Deku fight was literally entertaining, but at the same time a little bit confusing. Let me explain, so let's go talk about it. Hello, beautiful human. Welcome to Kick Up Flicks. If you're brand new here, we talk about film and anime together. Why not? Because it's about story, entertainment, the messages, and sometimes pure entertainment. Today is about pure entertainment between Shigaraki and Deku. And we're going to go off at the exact point when Deku lifts Shigaraki up in the air along with everybody else after he got his powers back to make sure he saved everybody, which I thought was actually pretty legit. Now, this is where I kind of got confused ever so slightly. Deku knows how to float, but it didn't feel like we learned that he learned how to float on its own. Like it was like a new power that he learned how to gain, and we didn't like learn how he learned how to use that ability. It was more of a flashback. We're just touching it and then we're moving on, compared to like Whip Style when it came out and it was like all over the place. But either way, I don't know if Deku can actually use his shoot style while he's floating in the air, or probably because he's still trying to get used to floating in the air and therefore he can't use his shoot style. Because when he was mad and lost his shit and he was going after, Shigaraki really hard, he was just doing nothing but punching him. I don't know why he wasn't kicking at all whatsoever. Either that or I missed the scene where he actually did kick. But from what I saw, he was only punching repeatedly. And as we know, that is probably his weakest point of fighting at the present time, because he cannot grow his body like All Might did. I don't know why he can't grow his body like All Might did, because All Might grew his body by turning the power into his muscles by making himself flex really hard. I don't know why Deku can't do the same thing, but either way, Deku can, so we're just going to move on from that aspect. Point where the fight really did turn was after Deku was like really breaking down his body. Shigaraki's breaking down, but at the same time, All For One finally decided to take over Shigaraki's mind and go after Deku. And that's when Bakugo popped in out of nowhere and literally saved Deku, which I thought was really great, because that was the first time he ever showed true heroism the whole entire season for the first 6 seasons. Otherwise than that, he's just been kind of out there, just very angry and, aggressive toward everybody. But I kind of like it to see that paired back side of saying, oh, I finally just moved on my own. I don't know why I did it, but I did. And it was for a greater purpose. Now, when that happened, Deku literally lost his shit and turned into some kind of demon. And then All For One's power doesn't really work on Deku in that form at all whatsoever. Now, I don't know if that's a power that is purely based off of anger and attitude and personality, as they were trying to narrate, or if that was based off of another holder's power. I don't know if that's a clear line. If you know the answer, please let me know down in the comments, because I would really kind of like to know your opinion or the actual answer. So just let me know if that's the actual answer or your opinion of that fact. But when they went into this alternate world, I'm over here thinking to myself, I was like, okay, Deku can't really move. He has like the shadow. They're like foreshadowing heavily throughout this whole entire scene when Deku goes into this new form, and about where Deku's going in his life. But at the same exact time, he has this whip around him. He can't move into this world yet, as they say. So this also indicates that they're going to be in this world more than once. Shigaraki is fighting All For One, saying, I don't want you, really. I want to destroy you. I just want your power. I don't want you in my mind. But it doesn't look like he's going anywhere anytime soon. So there's kind of like 4 battles going on right now. You have the original All For One, the original One For All, and at the same exact time, you have the 7th, and then you have Shigaraki, and Shigaraki's fighting technically 3 battles, and it's kind of like this emotional mix of champions fighting each other, but at the same time having to please the people who gave them their power, which is literally crazy in my mind, because it's like, are you getting enough help from either side? Let me explain. You have One For All, but at the same time, they're not showing him how to really use his power to the full max. It's like you still have to learn physically how you learn to use all these powers. Now, I don't know if any other user has been able to use the powers of their predecessor, but as far as you know, Deku is the first one to do that. Now, if you have to physically be strong enough, then I understand. But one thing I did notice was that it kind of comes down to stamina when it comes down to all the other users' powers. The only power that really hurts Deku the most is using the super strength. And that's because his bones physically cannot keep up with the amount of damage. Now, at some point in time, he's going to have to learn how to increase the density in his body, because I think you can break your bones a million times. It doesn't make you technically stronger. Yeah, you might, build some kind of healing scar tissue or something, but at some point in time your body is going to eventually break down. So I don't know where they're going to go with that, but at the present time it's really not looking good. It's literally what, been 2 years or a couple years he's had these powers now, and he's still breaking his body down to the T. So he does not last long in a fight. Shigaraki, on the other hand, he's at the pinnacle of his power. He is like rising, getting stronger. He is literally pushing his power to the limit at the present time, and is far above Deku at the present time. So even on a straight up fight, I think Deku would hands down lose at the end of the day if Shigaraki can just hold on just that little bit. Now, the one thing I did notice of the original holder of One for All is that his power, along with the seventh and Deku's will, is a lot stronger than All for One by himself. And despite that, he's a narcissist and wants the power just strictly for himself, or really just wants to take the power back just so that he can be the strongest that has ever lived. Uh, I kind of respect that. But at the same exact time, I kind of want to know everybody else. Like, where's everybody else sitting? Unless you're just trying to keep it to like a very specific family affair. Because the seventh is related to Shigaraki, and at the same time the brother is also related to All for One and One for All. They're related. So I don't know, I'm interested there. So that's where I kind of got confused on the fight there. It was kind of like, in this world, it was almost like you can fight again, and if you both had the ability to move freely, it's like, would the same damage happen to your body in this ethereal world as it was in the physical world? Like, how separate are they? Like, you can see how his body was together, and I'm talking about Deku's body, how it really wasn't damaged, and almost the same exact thing for Shigaraki. Now, back in the real world, Deku nor Shigaraki could move at all whatsoever. They couldn't fight. Now, I don't know how quick this was. It was probably a very split second. But I don't know why Shoto, for not 1 second, didn't use any power. Maybe fire an ice pick or something. You're telling me he couldn't let go of Bakugo, put him under a bed of ice as he fell? Anything at all whatsoever to fire like an ice rod into the heart of Shigaraki during the minute that they were freezing. I get it. He has to save who he has to save, but you're the only one there that is probably powerful enough to release another firepower or ice freeze him to death at some point in time. I don't know, just to do something to finish this fight. But it was like nothing. And I think that's where in this fight, another point where I kind of got confused. Like, they left a lot of opportunities for the heroes to really probably put a button onto this fight, but they just did not, because either they wanted more information or they're just a little bit too slow. It's like the heroes in this very specific fight are a little slow in their reaction. And either way, they're slow moving at the same exact time, because you got to think about um the villain, the gigantic, guy coming to save Shigaraki at some point in time, is running through the cities, and not one hero is able to do anything. They can't even catch up to him, and which is very surprising, because I know they have a lot of fast heroes, but fast heroes are not going to be able to really do anything anyways, because they're just fast. They're not fast and strong. So either way, I think they're hugely missing All Might right now, and a lot of the heroes that have the ability to pack a heavy punch. So let me know down in the comments what you think, if you like what I'm doing so far. and you've hung in there for this long. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and click the bell notification so you won't miss anything. And above all those, don't forget to kick up and not down. I'll see you the next time I post. Peace.